savage mentality. Life is not a playground, it is a battlefield. Each of us is tasked with deciding how we will face the challenges that lie ahead. The savage mentality is not about being cruel or destructive. No, it is about cultivating a deep reservoir of inner strength and courage so that you can confront the difficulties of existence without flinching. A savage mentality begins with the assumption that life is full of suffering. This is an inescapable truth. But what do you do about it? Do you allow yourself to be crushed under the weight of life's chaos, or do you take up the burden of responsibility and grow stronger? Those who embrace responsibility become the architects of their own destiny. They say, "This is difficult, but I will face it anyway." Discipline is the cornerstone of this mentality. Discipline is freedom, not in the immediate sense, but in the long-term transformation it brings. When you choose to forgo momentary pleasure for the sake of a greater goal, you align your actions with meaning and purpose. Think about it. A person who disciplines their mind and body is no longer a slave to their impulses. They are free because they are in control. Chaos will always be part of life. The savage mentality does not deny this. Instead, it embraces the challenge of bringing order to chaos, whether it's in your personal relationships, career, or inner struggles. Your task is to face the chaos, identify its patterns, and mold it into something meaningful. This requires courage, real courage, not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite fear. Transformation doesn't happen overnight. It is the result of countless small decisions repeated over time. The savage mind doesn't wait for motivation. It builds habits that drive progress forward. It understands that every step forward, no matter how small, contributes to something greater. But let me clarify something. A savage mentality is not reckless aggression. It is a balance between power and virtue. Yes, you must cultivate strength. But strength without control is dangerous. A truly strong person knows when to unleash their power and when to hold it back. That balance is what separates the savage mentality from chaos and destruction. Finally, adversity is the proving ground of this mindset. When you face hardship, you are presented with an opportunity not just to survive, but to grow. The trials you endure refine you. They strip away what is weak and force you to develop what is strong. This is why the savage mentality sees struggle as a gift, not a curse. So ask yourself, will you shy away from the chaos, or will you confront it head on? Will you crumble under the weight of life's difficulties, or will you rise, embrace responsibility, and build something meaningful? The choice is yours. But remember, the path to greatness is not paved with ease. It is forged in the fire of struggle and discipline. That is the essence of the savage mentality. Responsibility is not just a burden, it is the foundation of a meaningful life. To adopt a savage mentality, you must first recognize that true strength does not arise from privilege or comfort, but from your ability to bear the weight of responsibility. Responsibility calls you to confront the chaos of existence with a sense of purpose. It demands that you step forward willingly, even when the path is uncertain or filled with obstacles. This act of shouldering responsibility transforms you. It not only shapes your character, but also gives your life a direction worth pursuing. Life, at its core, is filled with challenges. From the moment you wake to the time you rest your head at night, you are confronted by decisions, some small, others significant. To live meaningfully, you must decide how to act in the face of these challenges. Will you take up the burdens that come your way, or will you shrink back, hoping they disappear on their own? The harsh truth is, problems do not vanish simply because you ignore them. If anything, they grow. A savage mentality recognizes that running from responsibility does not protect you, it weakens you. You lose the chance to develop the competence and resilience necessary to thrive. Responsibility is what turns potential into reality. Think of a young person who has the capacity to excel in their career, form meaningful relationships, and contribute to their community. That potential remains unrealized unless they are willing to take responsibility for their growth. They must choose to show up, to learn diligently, to learn from failure, and to persist in the face of difficulty. Without responsibility, potential becomes wasted. You might tell yourself, I could be great if I wanted to, but that's not greatness. That's complacency disguised as possibility. The savage mentality rejects the temptation to avoid responsibility in the name of comfort or ease. Comfort, though alluring, is a trap. The more you indulge in it, the weaker your resolve becomes. You start to believe that you are entitled to a life without struggle, but life will not honor such a belief. Struggles will come. And if you have spent your time avoiding responsibility, you will not be prepared to face them. Responsibility, on the other hand, strengthens you. It is like lifting weights. The more you bear, the stronger you grow. With each challenge you take on, you build the mental, emotional, and even physical endurance necessary to confront greater challenges in the future. It is also deeply tied to meaning. Many people suffer from a lack of meaning in their lives. They feel adrift, uncertain of their purpose, and weighed down by existential dread. Yet if you examine their lives closely, you often find a common thread. They have avoided responsibility. They have chosen to live passively, waiting for meaning to find them rather than actively creating it. Meaning is not something that simply appears. It is something you earn by taking responsibility for yourself and eventually for others. When you decide to be the person who takes action, who solves problems, cares for others, and contributes to the world, you begin to find meaning. You see that your life matters not because someone handed you a purpose, but because you created it through your actions. A savage mentality understands that responsibility extends beyond oneself. While personal responsibility, taking care of your body, mind, and emotions, is essential, it is not enough. True strength comes from the willingness to take responsibility for the well-being of others, whether that be your family, community, or society at large. This does not mean you should carry burdens that are not yours to bear, but it does mean that you should step up when your contribution can make a difference. Imagine the power of a person who not only manages their own life effectively, but also serves as a pillar of support for those around them. That is the kind of person who commands respect and admiration, not because they demand it, but because they have earned it through their actions. It is not easy. It requires sacrifice. You must give up certain comforts and pleasures. You must face the possibility of failure. You must confront your own inadequacies and shortcomings. But this is not a reason to avoid responsibility. It is precisely why it is so valuable. Through responsibility, you discover your strengths and weaknesses. You learn where you need to grow, and you develop the courage to confront the parts of yourself that you would rather ignore. In doing so, you transform into someone capable of handling life's chaos with grace and determination. When you adopt a savage mentality, you stop viewing responsibility as a burden to escape and start seeing it as a privilege to embrace. Responsibility gives your life structure. It provides a framework within which you can build something meaningful. It challenges you to rise above mediocrity and to become the best version of yourself. It reminds you that life's greatest rewards are not found in fleeting moments of pleasure, but in the lasting fulfillment that comes from knowing you have faced the chaos, carried your share of the burden, and contributed to something greater than yourself. This is the essence of strength, the ability to embrace responsibility with both courage and conviction. Self-discipline is the cornerstone of personal freedom, and its significance cannot be overstated. It is often misunderstood, as many perceive discipline as restrictive or stifling, something that limits enjoyment or spontaneity in life. But this perspective misses the fundamental truth. Self-discipline is not a form of punishment. It is the path to liberation. The savage mentality recognizes that without discipline, one is not free, but rather enslaved by impulses, desires, and distractions. Discipline provides the structure that allows you to take control of your life and create the future you envision. Without it, you are at the mercy of forces beyond your control, both internal and external. It begins with the simple acknowledgement that immediate gratification is not the ultimate goal of life. Modern society constantly tempts us with convenience and instant rewards. From the ease of fast food to the dopamine hits of social media, there is no shortage of opportunities to indulge in what is pleasurable in the moment. Yet, the more you surrender to these temptations, the less freedom you have. The person who cannot resist the pull of instant gratification becomes a prisoner of their own desires. They lose the ability to act in their own long-term best interest, trapped instead in a cycle of fleeting satisfaction and lingering regret. A disciplined life is not an easy life, but it is a meaningful one. The savage mentality understands that true freedom comes from mastery over one's self. When you develop self-discipline, you gain the ability to choose your actions consciously rather than being driven by impulse. Consider someone who consistently wakes up early to work toward their goals, whether those goals involve building a business, pursuing education, or improving physical fitness. That person has made a deliberate choice to prioritize what is meaningful over what is easy. They might sacrifice an extra hour of sleep or a night out with friends, but in return, they gain something far greater: the satisfaction of knowing they are in control of their destiny. Also brings clarity to your life. When you establish routines and set boundaries, you free yourself from the chaos of indecision. You no longer have to waste energy debating whether to act because the disciplined person has already decided in advance. They don't ask themselves every morning, should I go to the gym today? They go because it is part of their routine, part of their identity. This clarity reduces mental clutter and allows you to direct your energy toward what truly matters. Paradoxically, discipline simplifies life, making it easier to focus on what is important. At its core, self-discipline is about aligning your actions with your values. It is not about blindly following rules or adhering to a rigid schedule for the sake of it. Discipline is a tool that helps you move closer to your goals and live in accordance with your principles. If you value health, discipline ensures you make choices that support it, such as eating nutritious food and exercising regularly. If you value knowledge, discipline drives you to study, read, and engage in intellectual growth, even when it feels tedious. In this way, discipline bridges the gap between intention and action. It transforms abstract ideals into tangible results. The savage mentality also recognizes that discipline is a skill, not an innate trait. No one is born disciplined. It is something you develop through deliberate effort and practice. Each time you choose to act in accordance with your long-term goals rather than succumbing to short-term temptations, you strengthen your capacity for discipline. Over time, these small victories compound, creating momentum that propels you forward. This is why starting with small, manageable commitments is so powerful. Success builds on itself, and the disciplined person learns to trust their own ability to follow through. It is important to acknowledge that discipline does not eliminate hardship or struggle. In fact, it often demands that you face discomfort head-on. Waking up early, saying no to unhealthy habits, also fosters a sense of inner peace. When you live in alignment with your values and goals, you free yourself from the guilt and anxiety that often accompany a lack of direction. The person who lacks discipline frequently feels a sense of unease, knowing they are not living up to their potential. They are plagued by the knowledge that they could be doing more, achieving more, becoming more. Discipline silences this inner conflict. It allows you to move through life with confidence, knowing that you are making progress, even if that progress is incremental. The savage mentality views discipline not as a restriction, but as an enabler. It enables you to say no to distractions, yes to opportunities, and ultimately yes to a meaningful life. Discipline is the foundation upon which freedom is built. It is what allows you to break free from the chains of impulsivity and create a life that reflects your highest aspirations. When you embrace discipline, you take the first step toward becoming the master of your own fate. Facing chaos with courage is one of the most defining characteristics of a savage mentality. Chaos is an unavoidable aspect of life, an ever-present force that threatens to disrupt our sense of order and stability. It manifests in various forms: uncertainty about the future, unexpected challenges, emotional turmoil, and the unpredictable nature of relationships or careers. The savage mentality does not attempt to eliminate chaos, for that would be impossible. Instead, it accepts chaos as a natural part of existence and chooses to confront it directly, armed with courage, determination, and a willingness to grow. Courage is not the absence of fear. Fear is an intrinsic human response, one that signals risk or danger and reminds us of our vulnerability. To deny fear is to deny our humanity. Courage, however, is the ability to act in spite of fear. It is the decision to move forward even when uncertainty looms and the outcome is unclear. Facing chaos with courage requires acknowledging the fear and the discomfort that comes with it while refusing to let it paralyze you. The savage mentality understands that the greatest achievements in life often lie on the other side of fear. It recognizes that stepping into chaos is the only way to bring about order and meaning. Chaos often represents the unknown, and human beings are naturally apprehensive about what they do not understand. We crave stability and predictability because they make us feel safe. Yet, growth rarely occurs within the confines of comfort. To expand your potential and discover what you are truly capable of, you must venture into the unknown. The savage mentality sees chaos not as something to avoid, but as an opportunity to learn, adapt, and evolve. It views the unfamiliar as a challenge to be embraced rather than a threat to be feared. In doing so, it turns chaos into a crucible for transformation. Facing chaos with courage also requires a clear sense of purpose. Without purpose, the chaos of life can feel overwhelming, even meaningless. Purpose acts as a guiding light, giving you direction and focus amidst the disorder. When you have a strong why, you can endure almost any how. A person with purpose does not see chaos as a random and cruel disruption. Instead, they see it as a necessary part of their journey. They understand that every challenge, no matter how daunting, holds the potential for growth and self-discovery. This perspective transforms chaos from an enemy into an ally, a force that drives progress and fosters resilience. To face chaos courageously, you must also develop the ability to stay calm under pressure. The savage mentality knows that panic and impulsive reactions only exacerbate chaos. Instead, it values the discipline of composure, the ability to think clearly and act decisively, even in those turbulent situations. This calmness is not innate. It is cultivated through practice and experience. By repeatedly exposing yourself to challenges, you learn to regulate your emotions and maintain your focus, even when the stakes are high. Over time, you build confidence in your ability to navigate chaos, which in turn strengthens your courage. Facing chaos with courage also involves accepting the possibility of failure. Chaos is unpredictable, and no amount of preparation can guarantee success. The savage mentality does not shy away from this reality. Instead, it embraces failure as an integral part of the learning process. Each failure is a lesson, a stepping stone that brings you closer to mastery. When you face chaos with courage, you understand that setbacks are not the end of the road. They are opportunities to refine your approach, build resilience, and gain wisdom. This willingness to fail is what separates those who grow from those who remain stagnant. A key element of courage in the face of chaos is taking responsibility for your role in creating order. It is easy to blame external circumstances for the chaos in your life, to see yourself as a victim of forces beyond your control. But the savage mentality rejects this mindset. It understands that while you may not be able to control every aspect of life, you are always responsible for how you respond. By taking ownership of your actions and decisions, you empower yourself to influence your circumstances, even in the midst of chaos. This sense of agency is crucial for maintaining courage, as it reminds you that you are not helpless. You have the capacity to shape your reality. The process of confronting chaos with courage is not without pain. It often involves facing truths you would rather ignore, letting go of illusions, and enduring discomfort. But it is through this process that you grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. The savage mentality understands that avoiding chaos only leads to stagnation, while confronting it head-on leads to transformation. And it is the act of stepping into the unknown, grappling with uncertainty, and emerging on the other side that forges character and builds resilience. Facing chaos with courage is about becoming the kind of person who can thrive in a world that is unpredictable and often unforgiving. It is about developing the strength to stand firm in the face of adversity, the wisdom to find meaning in the struggle, and the determination to create order where there was none. The savage mentality does not seek an easy life. It seeks a meaningful one. And meaning is not found in the absence of chaos, but in the courage to confront it and transform it into something greater. The power of incremental growth is one of the most transformative principles of the savage mentality. It is the understanding that profound change and achievement do not come from singular monumental actions, but from the consistent, deliberate effort applied over time. This principle is grounded in the reality that small steps, when taken consistently, compound into significant progress. Incremental growth requires patience, discipline, and a mindset that prioritizes persistence over immediate results. It is not flashy or glamorous, but it is undeniably effective. The savage mentality embraces this approach because it understands that greatness is built brick by brick, not in a single leap. Human beings often underestimate the impact of small, repeated actions. We are drawn to the allure of instant gratification and dramatic transformations. Whether it's a desire to achieve physical fitness, financial stability, or personal growth, many people seek shortcuts, quick fixes that promise rapid results with minimal effort. However, such shortcuts are rarely sustainable. The savage mentality rejects this mindset. It recognizes that sustainable growth is not about quick wins, but about laying a solid foundation through consistent effort. Small, deliberate actions might not yield immediate rewards, but over time, they create the conditions for meaningful, lasting change. Incremental growth is deeply tied to the principle of compound interest, a concept most often associated with finance, but equally applicable to personal development. Just as small investments made consistently over time can grow into substantial wealth, small efforts in any area of life can accumulate into extraordinary achievements. Consider the process of learning a new skill, such as playing a musical instrument or mastering a foreign language. At first, progress may seem slow, even imperceptible, but with daily practice, even if it's just 15 minutes a day, your ability steadily improves. Weeks turn into months, and months turn into years, and what once seemed daunting becomes second nature. The savage mentality understands that every small action contributes to a greater whole. This approach to growth requires a shift in mindset. Instead of focusing solely on the end goal, the savage mentality places equal importance on the process. It recognizes that the journey itself is where transformation occurs. Each small step, no matter how insignificant it may seem, is a victory. When you commit to incremental growth, you begin to see progress in areas where others see none. You develop an appreciation for the small wins, an extra push-up, an additional page read, a slightly better decision made today than yesterday. These small victories build momentum, and that momentum becomes a powerful force over time. Incremental growth also fosters resilience. By breaking down daunting challenges into manageable steps, you reduce the likelihood of feeling overwhelmed. Large goals can seem intimidating, even paralyzing when viewed as a whole. But when you focus on the next small step, the task becomes far more achievable. For example, if your goal is to run a marathon, the thought of running 26.2 miles might feel impossible at first. However, if you start by running 1 mile, then 2, then 3, you gradually build the endurance and confidence needed to complete the race. The savage mentality thrives in this space, understanding that progress is built on the accumulation of small efforts, not a single heroic act. One of the greatest benefits of incremental growth is that it makes success predictable. When you commit to small, consistent actions, you take control of the process. You don't rely on luck, talent, or external circumstances to achieve your goals. Instead, you rely on the habits and systems you've put in place. This approach eliminates the guesswork and puts the responsibility squarely on your shoulders. It might not be easy, but it is empowering. The savage mentality thrives on this sense of agency, knowing that the path to success is within your control as long as you are willing to do the work consistently. Patience is an essential element of incremental growth, and it is a quality that many people struggle to cultivate. In a world that values speed and instant results, the idea of waiting months or years for progress can feel frustrating. However, the savage mentality views patience not as a weakness, but as a strength. It understands that the best things in life take time to build. Whether it's a career, a relationship, or personal mastery, the things that truly matter require sustained effort and dedication. Impatience, on the other hand, often leads to shortcuts and compromises that undermine long-term success. Incremental growth also teaches humility. It reminds you that you are not entitled to success simply because you desire it. You must earn it, one small step at a time. This humility fosters a deep sense of gratitude for the progress you make. It encourages you to stay grounded, to appreciate the effort you've put in, and to remain focused on what lies ahead. The savage mentality does not seek overnight success. It seeks mastery, and mastery is a lifelong pursuit. The power of incremental growth lies in its simplicity and universality. It does not require extraordinary talent, resources, or circumstances. It requires only a commitment to showing up each day and doing the work, however small that work may seem. The savage mentality embraces this principle because it understands that greatness is not about grand gestures or rare opportunities. It is about the consistent, deliberate actions that, over time, transform potential into reality. Through incremental growth, you become stronger, more capable, and more aligned with your highest aspirations. And in the end, it is this steady, unrelenting progress that leads to the extraordinary.